Hey guys, this is Eric.
This is Tim.
And we are D&E Miniature and Board Games. So Tim, thanks to John's great sale of the Fantasy Flight at 50% off.
At Treefort Games in Fayetteville, Georgia.
Because we got to throw that in.
Shameless plug.
You know, I was telling you the other day, he got that 4x4 pallet that was about, I'd say, 5 or 6 feet tall.
Yeah, it was pretty huge.
With that, I was able to get the last expansion of Battles of Westeros.
Battles of Westeros, based on the Game of Thrones books and the new hit HBO television series. This is what we got here. Plastic's already off on this. You can see the cover here. I know Eric was quite excited to find this available there.
Now this is the House Baratheon expansion.
I'm glad you said the name because I don't think I could.
So in it we get Robert, Stannis, Renly, Brianna Tarth, and a few other characters.
Alright. What is this? Little...
It's a Fantasy Flight catalog.
Ah! Catalog. Shameless plugging for Fantasy Flight.
Pretty much.
That's what we're about.
So, now, as you know with the expansions, you have to have the core game to play this.
Gotta have what the base of everything so you can function on this one.
Now, I have the core game, so...
Yes, you do. This is your last... This is it. You've got the complete...
I have the complete. I have all the expansions. I'm debating... John offered me a deal I may not be able to pass up.
We'll have to see how your wife thinks about that.
I'm debating beefing up my House Stark and House Lannister.
The armies?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you told me that he had some extra stuff down there, and you were...
He offered me a deal.
You were tempted.
I'm still tempted. Now, unlike some of the other expansions, the expansion for House Baratheon, the book is a little bit thicker because it incorporates more. House Baratheon gives you the map for King's Landing. King's Landing is the major city where the king stays. So that you can do the Battle of Blackwater, which is one of the major battles in the storyline. You can do a siege on King's Landing just with whoever. Also, House Baratheon gives you the ability to play more than 2-player.
Oh, okay. So you can actually add a third,
fourth player. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then the normal. You didn't get to do the Battles of Westeros with me. Don and I did that.
I've watched it. Yeah.
But remember me telling you that when we were doing the Great War. Mm-hmm. That the Great War setup was a lot like the Battle Lore stuff.
Yeah, the hexagonal, I believe, is what you called the tiles. Yeah,
with the tiles, but also with the scenarios. So the additional rules here are what, about 27 pages.
And are from what you've read or anything like that and seen, are there any significant rule changes?
Not really. I mean, you got, like I said, you got about 14 extra pages of rules here.
And it's just basically about the armies that you're getting in this one.
Right, and the new characters. And then it gives you a whole slew of new scenarios.
And see, that to me, that's really good because...
See, you even got the scenario for Battle of Blackwater.
You don't have to worry about significant rule changes to the gameplay. The gameplay still remains the same. It's just this army functions this way, this army functions that way. They cooperate with everybody else like that. So that's really cool. So,
now the one thing though is that even though this is a Battle Lore game, Battle of Westeros, and I've said this before in the other expansions, Battle of Westeros, you cannot use it with Battle Lore games. They're not interchangeable.
Not interchangeable.
It's not like the 100-Year War expansion that you can get for Battle Lore game. And this one, you can't play it with either or.
Now, did y'all get a sheet like this in the other ones?
What these are the, you've got the plastic flags, and you place stickers on there, and they go on the units to signify...
Okay, because I don't remember seeing one of those in the last. So these are just the...
those are your new terrain pieces.
Yep, terrain pieces. These are all knockouts, they look to be.
Yep. I believe it also gives you the... yep, you get the mud gate. And one of the big things with the Battle of Blackwater was Tyrion Lannister got basically a flammable substance, put it in the water. And that's one of the ways they defeated a lot of Stannis Baratheon's army when it was coming, was they basically napalmed the fleet.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like what we would consider maybe Greek fire for back in the...
Basically, yeah. Yeah. The new map board. 9,
correct? As normal?
Oh no, this one's a fold-out.
Oh, really?
This isn't Zombicide, man.
Well, I thought they looked like they were individual tiles. Oh wow, that's pretty massive.
Now this one, you've got your normal green battlefield,
yep,
which you add all the hexes to,
and then
so you can still play normal battles.
Sneak the peek on the other side, and that's your.
And then you have King's Landing.
Yep.
Quite nice little representation. You got the river. Basically where the Mudgate would be. That was where the major battle with Stannis was. It's supposed to be the weakest point of King's Landing.
Ultimately, though, with all of these Battle of Westeros games, you could conceivably set up a massive effing table.
Yes, you could. And which is why I'm considering getting another Battle of Westeros core game, so that I get another map to...
I mean, that would be, like, epic. I mean, good lord. And especially, like you said, with this one, being able to incorporate the, you know, other players and bring in different armies, and holy crap, you could set up some really backstabbing alliances, which is kind of what I've seen from Games of Thrones.
Yeah. But like I said, you got Robert Baratheon, you got Stannis Baratheon, you got Renly Baratheon, you've got the Robert and his 2 brothers. You got Davos Seaworth. Now he was basically the hand to Stannis Baratheon. Bryce Caron, Brianna Tarth, Andrew Estermont, and Melissa Anda. Now she is basically the Fire Witch. She believes in the Lord of Light, and she does witchcraft in the books and in the shows. She actually has been known to bring people back using the powers of the Lord of Light.
Huh. Which is normally something you associate with a dark power.
Yeah, well, if she was in Salem, they would have burned her at the stake.
Yeah, well, luckily she wasn't. This is pretty cool. Look at that. They gave you a little handle
to pull the insert out. Alright, so...
Thinking of all sorts of stuff.
Now...
Quit throwing stuff at me.
You haven't actually assembled miniatures before.
Not these, no.
Any, really. One of the biggest complaints with the Battle of Westeros games was that you had to put all these little figures on these stands.
Yeah, I remember you and Don talking about it, and Don literally just sat there and he goes, pop.
And he held it upside down for a second.
He's like, what's so wrong with that?
A normal gamer, see, this is the problem with, and don't get me wrong, folks, I've played the HeroClix games. They're okay, I like them. But it's the problem with, like, HeroClix. HeroClix gives you a figure on a base already painted. For most gamers, the majority of us, part of the hobby is putting the stuff together and painting it. The only thing you have to do really with these, though, is just put them on the base. If you want to paint them, you can. But one of the biggest complaints was you had to put them on the base. It took like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, come on, folks. I would be more concerned, and I think this is where you and Dawn were speaking as well. You know, because everything's just in a Ziploc and it's packed in there, and I mean, these boxes could be stacked several high. There could be a wee bit of damage, some bending and everything, but as Eric and Don mentioned, multiple videos on YouTube how to fix it. They actually gave one right then and there with the hot water.
Well, we talked about it.
Right.
Mantic does a beautiful video. It's the hot water trick. You heat water up, and you put the figure down, and most of the time, it'll bend right back to the original pose. Sometimes you gotta bend it a little bit. Not a real big deal.
Either which way, just looking at this right offhand, there are sabers and long swords and
that are bent a little bit.
Right, that are bent. Now, to me, because I'm not as hardcore as Don and Eric and some of y'all,
it wouldn't bother you at all.
It wouldn't bother me at all. Now, if they were, if the plastic were bent to the degree where it's actually showing the breakthrough, I would want to try and repair that so it didn't break off. But if it did, I mean, good Lord, just take a little X-Acto knife, add your little add your little point right back to it, and now it's fixed for the most part.
Now here's the other complaint. The original Game of Thrones game, all it had was the banner stand, and the banners were cardboard. You'd slide them into a slot.
Mm-hmm.
There was such the complaint because after a while they would just fall off. It wouldn't stay stuck in the plastic holder. So Fantasy Flight came out with the new where they actually molded this and you put a sticker on the flag. On top of that, you can actually go and buy a box of flags.
Flags just for extra.
To replace the ones from the first one. The only thing that I don't like, and it's not really that big of an issue because a little bit of glue on it, rubber cement even fixes this problem, is after a while the stickers fall off these. The tack on the sticker wasn't really great, I didn't think. But all in all, I believe if I read correctly, Battles of Westeros House Baratheon has 129 new figures. They're all the basically the armies for House Baratheon. And as anyone has played these games, the different armies are color-coded. You have the gray for House Stark, you have the red for Lannister, House Baratheon is yellow. But all in all, everything I've looked at with this game, I really like the looks of it. Even Glenda last night when she looked at this, she was like, I want to play. I want to play. We've actually had requests for playthroughs on this.
Yeah.
So it will probably be, when we get to that point, it will be one of our first playthroughs.
Definitely going to be something that we're gonna play through.
So what do you think?
To me, being only acclimated to a lot of cool mini stuff and not actually having played with the hexagonal board, it almost looks intimidating. There's the expansions, from what I've seen that you got, they're all pretty big, and they all come with their independent rule books, but the base core rules don't change. You're just learning how your armies operate. It would be something that I think on a whim, if we played, it may take me a little bit to catch up, but once I started playing, I would catch it, and then it would become more fun, knowing that we can, change the terrain, change the battles, the battlescape, and not to mention, this is yet something else, like many of the other games that we've done. There's a set outcome in the books, in the show, and everything like that. You can completely change it.
Change the history of...
Right. I mean, to me, that is always a really cool aspect of any of these games that are based on things that are either factual history or based on books that have a set outcome already that we all know if you've read them and seen the shows or whatever. To be able to change it, it's kind of like Marvel used to do back in the day, the what if comics.
Well, the other thing too is that it gives you Stannis, Renly, and Robert. Robert dies in the first season. Renly dies shortly after that, and then Stannis just recently was dispatched in the shows. But with this, it gives you the ability to go, hey, you know what?
What if?
I got Robert, I got Sansa and Renly. They used them all with the Baratheon army. I mean, and trust me, the size of the Baratheon army is crushing compared to just the amount of figures that we have.
That's 129.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of stuff.
Until I beef up my Lannister and Stark armies.
This guy's gonna, yeah. When I say massive setup,
it will be massive.
He would be the guy to be able to execute a massive setup.
Large scale killing.
Oh, God.
Hey, it's got to be worth setting it up.
I mean, what I've seen on Game of Thrones, it's pretty bloody, pretty brutal, so that would definitely fit into bloody and brutal.
Well, you gotta think, Robb Stark, when he brought his bannermen together, he was wandering around with a 20,000 force army.
20,000? That's not bad.
But consider that, even though it's a different world, you're thinking that it's basically medieval times with some fantasy built in. So, to field 20,000 men...
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's actually a big force.
And with all these maps working together in their layouts and patterning, you could have just an epic, you know, butt-kicking battle after battle. And it's kind of a you know, coup d'etat of who outlasts the others.
It pretty much is. But anyways, guys, Battles of Westeros, House Baratheon. Hey, thanks for watching. We are trying out some new intro and exit music that, thanks to our friend Manny, has graciously recorded for us. Though we've gotten kind of addicted to K-Paso. Come on, we've used it for almost every video. If you guys like the new music that we're starting to use, please leave some comments because we're trying to decide which route we want to go. Manny Menez, great musician, has actually offered to record more music for us if we want it.
And he is a wicked guitar player. Battle of Westeros, Fantasy Flight. Please don't forget, if you're in the area, you know, Tree Fort Games in Fayetteville, stop by if you like Fantasy Flight. He's got a lot of stuff. Half off, correct?
Half off,
half off. You know, stop in, give him some business, check out some new stuff that you, or you know, be like Eric, you can pick up something you might be missing and you can't find anything better than a half off deal.
Well, 90% off.
Or free, but
yeah,
we're talking realistically. So, you know, stop in, help them out, check out this stuff, and please like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, and as soon as we get into some gameplays of Battle of Westeros, we'll be posting up the playthroughs on those.
I think what we're going to do, though, is start out with some basics, like, you know, set up a small scenario and this is how you do this, this is how you do that.
We're not going to let Eric set up the massacre for the first try.
But when we do, there will be video and pictures of that, just like there was the huge, huge Zombicide game. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Come see us at Tree Fort. Game on.
Game on, folks.